Good morning, Facebook. I'm going to be driving, so my internet connection may come in and out. So just let me know. And like and share this video if you're watching live on Facebook. Make sure that you turn on the notification button to get notified whenever I'm live. If you're watching on YouTube, right, hit the subscribe button, subscribe to my channel, and right next to the subscribe button you'll see a bell. Hit that bell and it will notify you via email or notification on YouTube that I have uploaded a video or I am live. So you definitely want to take care of those two things first. So if you're watching this live on Facebook, then my connection may go in and out as I'm driving on a rural road here right in Mississippi. So real quick, I want to jump into the topic of paying charge-offs and collections, right? Paying charge-offs and collections accounts. So hold on, let me get my shades. Let me get my shades. The sun is beaming this morning. Paying charge-offs and collections account. Okay, I just got a notification or an email from a client. I may wanna, okay, let me put my shades on. And so yeah, so this topic is paying charge-offs and collections, right? So I start first with charge-offs. What are charge-offs accounts? Well, charge-offs accounts are usually accounts or they are accounts that the creditor has decided that usually around after 6 months of non-payment from the customer, that they will just write it off as in their books, right, for a business write-off or a loss to the company. So after 6 months of trying to collect from a customer and the customer has not paid on the account, they'll just look in their books and say, hey, we'll write this off as bad debt that was not paid to us as agreed, and we need tax deductions, right? Because I tell people all the time, the name of any game, if you want to stop living paycheck to paycheck and begin walking the road of becoming richer in your finances and are wealthy, is to pay less in taxes. But that's another video for another day. You know, I help people to reduce their taxable income that they bring home from their paychecks, where they were paying anywhere from 26 to 32% out of every paycheck in taxes, right, in form of federal taxes. Now legally, you have something on your W-4. If you Google 2019 W-4, you will see that there's a part in that column that's for adjustments. And by adding adjustments, by connecting with the home-based business financial program that I'm affiliated with, once they become a part of that and become a business affiliate as well, then they bring home more money out of their paycheck, right? And they reduce their paycheck from being taxed from 26 to 32%, and they get anywhere from $500 to maybe $1,000 more out of their paycheck without getting a promotion or working overtime from money that they did not know that they had, right? So that's what companies do. They say the name of the game is, we don't want to pay in taxes. We're going to save thousands in tax. You know, Amazon, the big headliner this year, where they made millions of dollars and they paid zero or very little in federal taxes. So that's the name of the game for businesses, and should be for let me get this adjusted, employees as well. So yeah, so I had in the midst of a divorce, if you've ever been through a divorce, you can know your legal time period for a divorce can be months, right? It depends on how many assets that you have tied into the marriage that's ending. It could be years. It could be years. And so I was the lead person. He was a co-signer on the account. I was the official owner or the lead person on the account as the account owner, and he was the co-signer. And so the credit card was tied into both of our names, but I was the main person that's responsible for the account. So after months and months of divorce, well, it happened over 6 months because, waited court date to see who the judge was going to, but much of the debt was his. Much of the debt was his, right? Even though, because I had better credit, I was the applicant, and he was just the co-applicant. Much of the debt was his. So after 6 months, it was a credit card. It was not paid on. And we were in the process of going through a divorce. And I thought that the judgment, right, from the judge would be for him, because I had proof that the debt was his, that was charged on the card, would be for him to pay the card and any outstanding balances and interest and late payments that came along with it. Well, I'm sorry, I can't apologize for the son. It is what it is. I can't control everything. Just help you control your credit and cash flow, but I can't control the son. So just listen, but you may see a blur. And so in doing so, went to court. Well, that judgment was not in my favor. So I have a charge off that's reporting on my credit report, and now the amount is over $10,000 because it's late fees, it's interest and penalties. And as a result of, at the end of the year, I've received a 1099 form in the mail from that creditor, right? From that creditor to pay, or not to pay, but because they write it off as a loss. So I received a 1099 in the mail. Now that $10,000 plus was added to the money I made for the year from my job and from my business as income. So it looked on paper that I had made a $10,000 additional more money that year, and now that puts me in a higher tax bracket in which I may have had to pay taxes on. So what I did, I tell people all the time, I state this all the time, and I reiterate this: if you want to stop living paycheck to paycheck, right, and get into positive cash flow, I have on my Nike this morning, right? So you can call me Miss Coach Deloach, or you can refer me as Queen of Credit, but I'm giving you financial strategies. 2 things you need on your team is a person that can help you enhance and restore and build your credit once negative items have been placed on there or reported on there. And you need a great tax professional to help you save thousands and thousands of dollars in taxes, right? And you also need my W-4 wealth training as well. And so I got with my tax professional. I said, hey, they're making it seem as if I have an additional $10,000 in income. I just spent $1,000 on a divorce. And so getting the charge off removed from my credit report, that's what I did. That was not an issue for me. And so by having the right tax professional on my team, he was able to legally not have that report as income for my taxes. So I did not have to pay on the taxes as well. So when a lot of people ask me the questions, or I get a lot of questions oftentimes, should I pay off charge off if the accounts are closed, right? Because the company has already taking it as a loss. It was no harm, no foul to the company. They saved thousands of taxes. They're not worried about the debt. The account is closed. I can't use it anymore. Well, it depends on your personal situation. That's why I give customized consultation, because if you want to do business with that bank again, right, then you will need to pay that balance off. If this is a bank that you want to go back to in the future, right, and say, hey, I may want to open up another line of credit with them again. I may want to apply for another credit card. I may want to get a mortgage loan from this bank in the future. Then yes, some banks or some accounts will blacklist you, in which until you pay that debt as agreed, then you will not be able to in the future to get another loan or have any credit services with them, right? But I have some people credit reports that I look at, and they have over 10 charge-offs, for example, and they have charge-offs with big banks, like the big dogs, right? Bank of America, Chase, Amex, right? I know Amex in particular, once you get a charge-off with them, even if you get it deleted from your credit report and you don't pay taxes on it, right? Then if you wanted to apply for an Amex card again in the future, you more likely will be blacklisted and not get approved, right? And so some people have charged off with the big dogs, Bank of America, Amex, Chase, maybe U.S. Bank, etc., etc. And I'm like, what if in the future you've gotten this charge off and now you don't have any banks to go to, right? Because you haven't paid these charge-off balances to go and get another, to do business with them again. So those are things that you may want to consider if you're looking at, will I pay this charge-off balance or not? The pros and the cons of it. So let's get into collections real quick. Should you pay collections? You all make sure you hit the thumbs up. Make sure you like this video. If it's any... I'm sorry, I'm in my sports car, so every time I hit the gas, my cell phone may drop. So let me show you or explain to you how debt collections work, right? Debt collectors, they purchase your debt for pennies on the dollar. What I mean by that is, for example, if it's $100 balance that you owe the original creditor or the original business that you enter into an agreement with by contractual terms, and saying I will repay you for services rendered. Once you sign your name on, whether it's a medical visit to a doctor's office or clinic or any type of company, once you sign your name, you have entered an agreement that I will repay you for your services rendered to me this day. And so once that happens, after some time, the original creditor is trying to collect from you and you haven't collected, they would do the same thing as a charge off. They will write it off. They say, hey, we can't collect, we tried to collect, we're just going to write this off as a tax loss for our company. We're going to save thousands or whatever on taxes, right? For them, no harm, no foul as well. But then comes debt collectors, and they say, hey, we want to buy this debt, right? We want to make a profitable income off of this. We want to profit off this. So we will purchase that $100 debt for $10, or maybe a $10,000 debt, or $1,000 debt for $100, right? And we're going to collect or try to collect the full balance from this client. We're going to take on that burden. We're going to take that risk, even though they did not enter into a contract with us and we did not provide any services. We're going to try to collect from them because we want to make 5 times the amount of profit. So we'll pay $1,000 for this $10,000 debt, or we'll pay $100 for this $1,000 debt, or we'll pay $10 for this $100 debt, and we'll try to collect the full balance or partial balance from the customer because we want a profit. But what they never buy is your original contract that you've made an agreement from the original creditor. Why don't they purchase the original contract? Because it will cost them 3 or 4 times more. But did you know, whether you're watching this live or you're watching this on the replay, that if they do not collect the original contract, right, under the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, they are not in legal guidelines within the law to collect that money from you. Because the original contracts And what they will try to do, if you ask them on your own without having the knowledge of the law, to validate, they will send you a letter and say you have 30 days for ask for validation. And if you try to on your own ask for validation, what they will do oftentimes is send you a printout of charges. That's called itemization of fees from the company that you did enter into services or agreements with. That, under the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, is not the legal grounds of what they need to collect a payment from you. And so they don't have the legal paperwork in place. They purchase your debt for $10 for every $100, right? So pennies on the dollar. And then the risk they take is, number one, this client is not informed of their legal rights. And so they will pay us, right? And some people would say things like, well, I heard if you just pay a debt collector $5 a month, they can't ever take you to court. And out of fear and not being educated, they don't understand that if you, within that 30-day process of receipt and notification in writing, have 30 days to make them validate or produce that original contract. And if they can't, they cannot take you to law, nor will you owe on the account legally, meaning that you won't owe the debt. And so a lot of people are just sending small payments in fear that they will be taken to court. But even, and so what debt collectors do is they buy this debt, they don't have the legal documentation to collect, and they monetize, they make billions and billions of dollars off of your lack of knowledge and knowing that they should have these things in place, your original contract, and or you not knowing how to make them produce the original contract. And so that's when clients come to me and say, hey, I received this letter from a debt collector in the mail stating that I owe $10,000, $11,000, $5,000, $1,000. How can I obtain your services to get me out of this debt? And so that I won't owe the debt, number one, and number two, I don't have to worry about this, coming back to me in forms of being summoned or having to go to court. Because what happens is, if you just ignore the letter, which 98%, 99% of my clients do before they come into the education, they just ignore the letter. Men put it in the back of their trucks, women put it on the counter with the other bills that, and they just go about life, and then they block the debt collectors from calling. Now your 30-day time frame that the law gave you to dispute that ends, and the next thing you get is some type of notification or summons that this debt collector is taking you to court. Now they have legal grounds to take you to court because you relinquish your rights, right, to make them produce the paperwork that they're supposed to produce, so you don't legally owe them or owe that debt. And so what happens then is a lot of people don't go to court at all. They're afraid at this point, and I ignored this, and I'm not going to go to the court hearing. And now the debt collectors, they buy this stack of folders, a portfolio of debt, and when an attorney goes to court for the debt collector, it's not the company themselves that show up in court. They'll get an attorney and say, go to court, and the attorney will charge them a fee. They have a stack of unpaid or collections, and they call out the customer's name, and the judge didn't show, not here, and they end up winning by default. So now it becomes a legal case, and now the judge has rules you have to pay. So that's how I save myself thousands and thousands of dollars. Remember, paying off charge off of collections, that's a decision for you. If you want to do business with banks and you have a charge off account, then you may want to pay that balance. And if you don't have the right tax professional or the right credit person to get it deleted off your credit report, then you may want to pay that. Or if you don't have the professional help that you need to make debt collectors produce their information, good morning, then you may want to pay that collection. But I can tell you, I save people hundreds and thousands of dollars by helping them and by them inquiring about my services and becoming my client not to do that. So good morning. Hey, you all have a great day. I've reached my destination. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. If you want any inquire about my services, email me at LD. That's LD at 𝒞𝓃𝑒𝒹𝒾𝓉.com. Send me an email at LD at 𝒞𝓃𝓒𝒾𝓉.com. This is Queen of Credit, Queen of Cash Flow, Queen of Collection signing out. Queen of all. Hey, you all have a great day.